Hey everyone, Professor Michael Scanlon here. So, happy Monday, or happy Moon Day, that is. So, Monday is named after the moon. And if you take a look at Latin based languages, Spanish, French, Italian, let's take a look at Spanish. Monday is Lunes, which sounds like lunar. That's because this day of the week is named after the moon. So, let's check out our moon. So we fly away from Earth and check it out. This is the side of the moon that we always see. We only see one side of the moon at any given time. And what you'll notice are some dark splotches with some whitish raised up areas. The dark splotches are actually old lava flows. They're called maria, Latin for seas, because they were originally thought to be oceans on the moon. They looked like oceans to some of the early astronomers, and so you have these different mare. The back side of the moon, now there is no true dark side of the moon. It's very much like the Earth. The side facing away from the sun is the night side, it's the dark side, but that could be any side of the moon. There is a front side, though. It's the side that we always see. And there is a back side. It looks very, very different from the front side. It's heavily cratered and doesn't have very many Maria at all. So that's our moon. Um, we have been there a few times. Not many, but a few times. So Apollo 11, of course, was the first. Then 12, 13 didn't make it. And then they had issues. They came back to Earth. Then you had 14, 15, 16, 17, and then that was it. So we have been a few times to the moon, but not as much as we would like. It's a really interesting place. There is a website that I want to show you, and I want you to check it out. And I'll put a link to the site in the description on the video in Facebook and on YouTube. And it's a NASA site, and it's exploring the solar system, and it has an interactive moon that you can kind of roll around. It tells you where the different missions landed, be it manned or robotic or what have you. I want to kind of look at the interior of the moon. And so the moon does have this layered structure similar to the Earth, although it is very calm geologically, or like in terms of earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. What caused the Maria to begin with were high impacts, or high velocity impacts, or heavy impacts that punched holes in the lunar surface and lava flowed up. Well, if that happened today, you wouldn't really have necessarily the same result. There's no warm lava, there's no warm magma underneath the crust of the moon. It's pretty cooled off over the last really long time. So the moon is kind of lopsided, and if in terms of its core, and in terms of its crust, one side of its crust is thicker than another. So this site allows you to go through a number of different views of the moon loaded with information. I'm going to pop down to more. Okay. And you can have just a basic overview. You can get in depth with this. And as I recommend with any of our videos, we give information to kind of get you started and point you in the right direction. But we really encourage you to dig into this stuff because it's really cool. Sorry. To dig into this stuff because it's really cool. You have an interactive moon here that you can drag around and take a look at. Okay. You can read about a lot of its features, loaded with information here. You can check out some just random number facts. I say random, some number facts. So we're going to shift to English so that you can see units that you're probably more familiar with. So Earth versus its moon, that's a size comparison. And you can have all these different measurements should you be interested at all in any of these things. Excuse me. If you want to compare it to, say, something else. And a lot of these are other moons. Um, uh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. I'm sorry, I'm trying, y'all. A lot of these are other moons. Um my thing had a little hiccup in it as I was trying to scroll. Both in the solar system, out of the solar system, just other things that are out there. So you can just, I mean, loaded with stuff that you can compare it to. Let's see, one thing that you might be familiar with other than Earth is Europa. We'll take a look at Europa. Europa is a moon of Jupiter, and we see that it's not much smaller than Earth's moon. And Europa is an ice moon. We'll talk about it another time, possibly. Anyway, so you can look at the size comparison of Earth's moon and other moons and other things out there. So it talks about lunar phases, and you can kind of go through and look at these different phases. So that's incredible, right? It tells you what they actually are, right? It's not the moon passing into Earth's shadow, as is often uh, said, is a common misconception. You're actually looking at the night side of the moon. So here's the moon's full day side, and as it moves around us, we're seeing the side more and more facing away from the sun. So we're seeing the night side. We're still seeing the same side of the moon. We're just seeing it in terms of night and its day. Um, one side of the moon always faces us, and it talks about lunar eclipses. So we say the moon is not really tidally locked with us, but it is in a resonant orbit. And then you have some pretty awesome galleries. I mean, we're talking images, videos, just all kind of different things that are about the moon. So please, by all means, do yourself a huge favor. Take a look at our closest natural satellite neighbor. That is our one and only moon. We are the first planet in the solar system with a moon. Mercury and Venus, neither one of those have a moon. Our moon is incredible. It helps us with the tides. It helps us with the time of day or the length of a day. So the moon is moving steadily farther away from us bit by bit every year. It's a really slow process, but in that interaction between us and the moon and it moving away from us, it's actually slowing our rotation rate down. A long time ago, perhaps like when the dinosaurs were around, the day was not 24 hours long, it was actually shorter. And a very long time from now, the day will be much longer than 24 hours, and it's all because of our awesome companion right here, the moon. So on this moon day, take a look at some awesome features of our only natural satellite, or at least our main natural satellite that we know of. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.